Hello, everyone, and welcome back to Mask and Cowl. I'm Justin. Welcome back to another awesome week here. First things first, Ben, how was your week?
My week was has been pretty good, pretty good. Just chilling. Haven't watched a ton. There's a lot of things on my list that I'm like, whether it's a rewatch or that I want to watch. There's a lot, but um, kind of just did a rewatch this week, and we'll talk about it. But overall, pretty good. How about
Nice.
you?
Rewatches are great. I'm doing all right. I didn't watch a lot either. I guess I feel like I keep coming on here and be like, oh yeah, by the way, I watched a ton of stuff, and I did those weeks. I feel like I also watched a good amount of stuff, but like nothing super noteworthy. I'll mention it, but it's a lot of rewatches and stuff for the most part. Um, or just kind of casually just chilling around the house. Like we talked about the Muppets like a week or two ago, and I
Yeah.
watched a couple of Muppet movies with my wife over the week. So I'll
Oh
talk about
yeah.
those a little bit later, just very quickly and briefly. Um, but yeah. Uh, all right. So one thing I know I want to talk about is I also watched Scavengers Reign this week. I
Uh-huh.
have a friend of mine who watches the podcast, and he keeps recommending us to watch it. So I watched it, and I'm excited to talk about that later. Um,
You're not
so,
talking about it now.
well, yeah, we could start off with that. Is there anything else you want to talk about at the beginning, or you just want to hop right into that?
I think we can hop right into that because I'm curious about your review because I have something to say about it.
That have you looked into it? Have you watched it or anything?
I just watched the first episode
Okay. Don't say anything.
today.
Don't say anything. Okay. All right.
Well, I no no I had kind of have to say something.
Well, I
So
mean, don't
I
say
don't know.
anything until I give my review, because
Okay.
I want to talk about. I'm excited to talk about this show. All right, so we'll just go ahead and get into that. This show, I thought the show was like new-ish because I've been seeing it pop up a little bit, and then my friend mentioned it to
It's a
me and stuff
couple
like
years
that.
old, right?
Yeah, it's like 2 or 3 years old, and it was on HBO Max originally. I think now it's on Netflix. Like Netflix bought it, but then it's still dead. Like it got canceled after a season. So, all right. So Scavengers Reign. I can't give the show a score, but I will say
You can give it a score.
this show is garbage. I hated every second of this show. I was halfway through the first episode and I was like, man, I've never just wanted like I'll fall off stuff like games and shows sometimes or whatever, but I've never just picked up a show and been like, this is just I don't want to be watching this. I don't like this at all. But I did. It's a very short show. It's 12 episodes or whatever.
20
It's
minutes
animated.
each.
Yeah, like 30, yeah, 25, 30 minutes each. It's animated. It is some of the ugliest animation I've ever seen in some part, and then all of this is subjective, obviously, because some people are gonna think that this is great looking. The world and like the alien fauna and foliage and everything like that is, that I could see that being like somewhat good, but like the people are the ugliest people I've ever seen. I hate every single character. They do not get better. They consistently get worse. This show doesn't, in my opinion, again, it's all subjective. This show is like trying to be like new weird. I've heard the term thrown around. I was like reading up on this show after I watched it and what people were talking about it. And
Yeah.
this show has like a cult following. That's why I'm saying like this is very subjective because for people who like this, they're gonna like it. I did not like this at all, but somehow I managed to push my way through. But I had so many problems with this. This is one of the ugliest for me. This is like one of the ugliest shows I've ever seen. Specifically when it comes to the people, like I said, the like the setting and everything sometimes looks fine, sometimes looks terrible, but it kind of goes back and forth. But like the people are just consistently super ugly, and I think they're horribly animated. They look terrible. The design for like the people and whatever is just bad. The voice acting is somehow even worse. The voice acting is atrocious. This is some of the
Jeez.
worst I have seen. Like fan made, like just personal projects in a bridge series on YouTube that are far superior to this. This feels like every single person is like in the cab on their way to their coffee meetup, and they're just recording a voice line on their phone, and like they're like, oh, I have this script, I'm supposed to read a line, let me just read a line, and then they'll just plug it in where it goes, I guess. And it's just like, I hate it so much. I hated every single minute of this show. I kept thinking like, but like I got to a point like 2 or 3 episodes in, I'm like, I'm already a quarter way done because it's only 12 episodes. I'm like, I can finish the show out. And a big thing for me also is it's like, okay, like I said, a lot of people were calling it like this new weird thing or whatever. Like, I get the idea that like they really tried to go for like, okay, it's an alien planet, and like there's the whole concept of like, if it's an alien planet, like everything's going to interact, like everything is way different than it would be like on Earth or whatever. Like, we don't even understand. We have no idea of like concepts of like what real alien life could be and all that stuff. And like
Yeah.
things would just function in ways that we are just have no idea and wouldn't be able to predict. And I think that in the first episode, that's really clear. That's really good, or not really good, but it's like it's clear what they're trying to go for, or whatever.
Yeah.
And they do that consistently ish throughout the whole thing. But at the same time, it's like they're doing that, but at the same time, like every single plot point, every single character trope, every single everything is just the most stereotypical, just tropiness. Everything is just super like it's like these are super unfamiliar with like humans, like completely non-related to anything we've ever experienced. They like half the alien stuff just works in a way that's just completely alien to us, and just complete like it's like, okay, here's some cool ideas that they had for like the ways that things would work that we would have no way of conceptualizing unless you were just a super
Yeah.
creative person. But then on the other hand, like, oh, but by the
Or
way,
you're high.
there's just things who just want to eat humans for some reason and leave everything else alone. Like, there's these predators, but like they're like standing next to like a super peaceful other alien thing that has and they're just like, why they're going after the humans because reasons, because we need
Humans
to,
are
because
they taste
because we
better.
need to drive the plot forward or whatever. And there's so much just absolute random nonsense that happens in this. There's a major plot, or there's a major thing that happens at the end of the first episode. You said you watched the first episode.
Yeah.
There's a major thing that happens to one of the main characters, and it's just like, did that happen, did that not? It's like weird, and you're not sure. That's
The
never
fungus
addressed
thing?
again. Like, where she touches it, and then
Yeah.
like it's like, is that fungus her, or is that real her? And it's like, I don't, who knows.
Yeah.
It's never addressed again. Like it's never.
Well, I assumed it was some
i
sort of dream
I
she
assumed
had,
it
and
was
she
going to
just
come back. I assumed that there was going to be some sort of reference, because like there's
it
several other
it kind
things that happen. It's just
it kind of
it's
reminded
garbage. I
me.
hated it. I hated every second of this
Yes.
show.
So that makes sense to me, and I'm glad that you say that because, no offense to anyone that likes
Yeah,
that
no
show,
offense to
okay?
Vandy, but I hated
No
this show.
offense. I was like, I sat down when I sit down to eat dinner with my wife. Usually, we'll put something on TV. We started to do like, let's eat at the table, and we're just like, nah, let's go watch the TV while we eat. And we had just finished the show we've been watching called Traders. Do you remember the game Mafia
Yes,
that we played at the bachelor party or
yep, we
whatever?
talked about this last
It's
week.
basically, yeah, it's basically that, but it's in like reality TV form. It was fun. Anyway, so we're done that, and I'm like, what should we watch? And she didn't really have any suggestions, so I was like, well, I want to watch the show Scavengers Reign. I hear it's good. Somebody's recommending it, and so I like do it. I watched the first episode, and after about halfway through, I was kind of like, I'm not gonna like this show. It's just not for me. It's not that like for people who might be like artsy or introspective and looking for things and this stuff, maybe this is for them, or they like really weird stuff. And so for that, you might like this. I don't know, but only got one episode in, and I was like, I don't think I want to watch the rest. And to hear you basically have the same thoughts that I had, where I was like, this is just, it's too weird for me. It's too weird.
I
Like,
don't
do
mind
I have a
it
simpleton?
like
Do I have a simpleton
necessarily.
mind?
No,
Sure.
yeah,
But I just,
I don't
I'm a
mind.
child, I
I
guess.
don't
It's too
mind
weird
it
for me.
being. I honestly don't mind it being weird, but I agree. Like it was weird in a way that I just
It's
didn't
not
care
for
for.
me.
Yeah, it was absolute. That's why I was like, I don't want to
It's
rate this
not
because
my cup of
I
tea.
can see as I was watching, I'm like, I can see what people like about this if you happen to like this stuff, but it's super niche, and like I
Yeah.
can get behind weird stuff. I can like weird stuff. I was watching this and I was like, you know what? Like in my opinion, like Iron Lung does this better. Like it has similar kind of vibes to that because there's stuff that just doesn't. You're like, what's going on with Iron Lung and the way that that works and whatever. But I just yeah I like part at first I was like, okay, maybe it's just not for me. But then the more it went on, I'm like, no, this is just bad. Like these characters, I hate every one of these characters. They're all terrible.
Yeah.
They're just all awful.
I kind of liked that they were different characters in different situations starting out.
Yeah,
Obviously the one dude in who was just stuck in the ship and he's like going actually crazy. Um,
he's
they're
probably
like
the
it
most
was
compelling character, but he's awful. They're all bad. They're all
yeah.
awful.
Well, they're all I don't know. I'm watching. I'm like I don't know. It was not for me
Yeah,
because
it's
I
not
think
good.
in
Don't
order
watch it.
to like this show, you have to really be like I think you have to like love the strange planet for you to be like, oh my gosh, so cool. Like as you mentioned, like the
Yes,
different ways that the ecosystem interacts with itself,
right, and I think that's
and like
cool,
that's
but
crazy.
it doesn't make any sense. There's so many things like the in order for that like premise to work or whatever, like you have to think about like evolutionary biology and like how like why are things like based off of evolutionary biology, like the way that things are on Earth is the way that they are because of that's how they work. But like you go on this other planet where nothing is the same, but all of a sudden like half the stuff is still like Earth shaped or humanoid.
Similar,
Everything like
yeah,
though these to be weird,
follows
these
the
weird things with
laws.
like they're walking around like bipedal or whatever. Like we wouldn't like it's like it's really inconsistent because on one hand they're trying to be all weird, but then on the other
I
hand it's just
just
like super. It just doesn't go far enough with it. Um,
honestly wish that the person who loves this show so much would explain why we're
yeah, I'll
stupid,
talk to
like
him
in the
about it.
comments or
Yeah, I'll
something.
talk to him
Like I
about it
want to
next
figure
time I
out
see
like
him.
what is there some kind of introspect to it? Is it the weirdness? Is it something completely different? So like I don't know what you guys are talking about. The story's great, the characters are
They're
great,
not. It's
and it's
awful.
just different. And I'm like, I don't know. But explain it to me because again, I only saw one episode and I was like, maybe it gets better. Maybe there's something where
It
you buy
doesn't.
in after a
In
while.
my opinion, the first
And
episode's the
hearing you
best
talk
episode, which is
Okay, well, hearing you talk
terrible.
about it, the thing is also, as you said, how you felt halfway through the first episode is exactly how I felt.
Also,
And
the
so that
first
tells me
episode
like
is the most unique. Every episode afterwards gets progressively more and more just kind of like run of the mill
trope.
stereotypical. Like by the end of it, they're fighting like a buffalo sized alien monster. But it's just like kind of just normal. It's just kind of your normal run of the mill.
It's a buffalo.
What? It's not a buffalo like the. I mean, I guess we can get. I can talk about spoilers real quick. It's a 3-year-old show. You skip ahead, 5 minutes if you don't want to have any spoilers for this, because you're not going to watch it. But like the guy
I
who,
don't.
anyway, so yeah, spoiler alert. The guy who's in the ship that's stuck in there or whatever. Does he get out in the first episode?
Yeah,
Okay, yeah. The thing, the little
yeah,
creature that comes up and like opens the door or whatever
like a
that
koala,
has
like an evil
telepathy or whatever.
koala.
Um, that thing, there's a whole bunch of them, but that one specifically, like I guess forms like a psychic bond with him or whatever, and uh, basically like, and that dude who's trapped in there is like the reason the plane crashed or whatever. He's like a super selfish prick, and it's all his fault. Um, and like he ruined everything and his life is a mess or whatever. So this thing telepathically bonds with him, and I guess through like how bad of a human he is or whatever, he psychologically accidentally affects that dude because he's never, they have no contact with humans or anything like that. So they're like completely neutral creatures, but this one, because it has a psychic bond or whatever with him, just kind of also becomes like a monster. So it starts like killing stuff, and then it starts forcing him to kill stuff for it and bring him like bigger and bigger like like other alien life or whatever, and the thing just starts eating it, and it just keeps eating more and more stuff or whatever. So that thing grows to be like the size of like a water buffalo or bigger probably by the end.
Gosh.
It's this huge thing. It's just like a morbidly obese version of it. That's just gigantic, and he's just like an
Yeah.
absolute douchebag, and he's just like mean. He's just got like he's just mean about everything. Like at one point, like the guy is like freaks out, and he like knocks the guy out, puts him into a coma, the crazy guy, and like puts him inside of his body. They also like doing a lot of like body stuff.
Yeah.
But he like
The
puts him in,
first.
so he's like connected to him inside, and he's just like carrying him around or whatever. And it's just a whole so like the whole thing is like the people who are still alive in the final episode are trying to survive, but also they're back at their ship, but they're on the surface of the ship or whatever. And also this thing is there, and it's just angry at the world and everything because it's mean for reasons, and it's just trying to kill them, and they're trying to fight it.
That's weird.
It's really
That's
stupid.
that's why like I'm just I'm wondering what is it that they love about this? I don't get it.
I don't know. It's got a cult following. It's popular in its niche stuff, but whatever. I don't know. I didn't like it. Anyway, moving on to something else. Oh wait, did you have any thought? Oh, I guess that was your thoughts on the first
No,
episode.
I like I said, I'm not gonna watch it all. I think I'm done after first
Yeah,
episode just because if I watch it all, it would be like a disservice to those who do enjoy it because I know
that's why I
this
don't
is
want to
not
rate
for
it
me.
because I'm
I'm
like,
just
this
gonna
is
hate it.
it's just gonna be yeah, it's gonna like I hated
Yeah,
everything about this, and that's
you're
not fair because
just
some people are gonna like this, and like that's
yes.
fine, but I vehemently did not. So
It's
yeah,
like it's like the Once Upon a Time in Hollywood thing where like there's definitely film bros and Tarantino fanatics who love that movie and I just don't it's not for me. I don't like it. A lot of Tarantino, Scorsese films like they're not for me. And some TV shows are just not for me.
yeah. Um, Also, speaking of that, just a quick addendum. You know, it's kind of sat with me. A lot of times, like movies sit with me over a while. I think like last time I talked about Wuthering Heights, I don't remember if I got a 7 or a 7.5. I think I'm gonna drop that all
I
the way
think
down
you
to
gave it a 7.5.
I think I'm gonna drop it all the way down to a 6 because that movie just is
Jeez.
not sitting well with me. Like afterwards, like during the hype of it, like it's a very pretty movie, but other than that, I don't think it really has anything going for it. Like the shots and cinematography are great. Also, it just doesn't do anything for me, and it just makes me feel terrible. And it's
Yeah, I
probably
mean
and apparently
I
it's not
completely
even close to the source material, like barely at all. Like they changed so much, and like
really.
that's kind of important to me, even though I'm like in general like that idea of being close to the source material.
Oh, you
But
like the source material, eh?
usually, yeah. Well, no,
I
like
might
no,
have
yeah.
an activity coming up later about that.
Interesting. Okay. All right. All right. What do you want to talk about next? Moving right along.
All right. Do you want to go into your movies or do you want me to go into my movie? Because I've got one
Um,
movie. Do you have more than one?
I guess I'm gonna be pretty quick about all of them.
Okay.
I mean, I guess I could do because you have less. I guess we
You
kind of
want to sandwich it?
sandwich them. I can go ahead and bring up. I like do a two for real quick because I only think I only have three. Um,
Okay.
I can't remember any other ones, but the main thing is there's three. We were talking about the Muppets last week, and
Hmm.
my wife and I were both like, we should watch the Muppets. We haven't watched the Muppets in a long time, and like apparently she's only seen like Muppet Christmas Carol like, a few years ago when I made her watch that because it's like one of the best Christmas movies of all time.
It's
And
the best Christmas Carol.
oh yeah, yeah for sure. But and she'd seen like bits and pieces, I guess, or whatever, but she'd never like watched, I guess, any of the old Muppet movies. So we watched a few. I went on Disney because they have them, but they're missing some absolute bangers on there.
Like what?
They're missing my personal favorite.
The Muppet movie? Muppets Take Manhattan.
That one. That one's I don't know why that's my favorite. It might not be after I rewatch it if I ever get a chance because it's not on anything. But
Yeah.
no, I love Muppets Take Manhattan growing up. That was my favorite one. But and they also don't have Muppets from Space, which is a lot of people's favorite.
Really?
Yeah. Um,
Which was whose favorite?
a lot of people's.
Oh,
Wasn't mine. I
really?
thought that was like, for me, that's like when it started getting like really, or trying to like bring
Too
it back
modern.
and make it modern or hip or whatever. Whereas I like the kind of
Yeah.
classic '80s ish charm it had to it or whatever. But
Yeah.
I still
Muppets from
like In
Space is
Space. Yeah,
yeah, it's
I
so
like it a
good.
lot.
Like that's when
Um,
I think that's when they started having like Pepe in there, and Pepe's an all-timer for me.
yeah,
I
Pepe's great.
love Pepe.
Um,
Yeah.
I also like, for me, like, to me, like Rizzo is like the original Pepe, and Rizzo was in a lot of stuff before that.
Yeah.
Um,
Well, they play off each other really well too.
yeah, I can't remember. Is
Rizzo and
Rizzo
Pepe.
in Space? I don't remember.
Yeah, he is because they test on him, the rats.
Oh, you're right. Yes. Because I remember him in Manhattan a lot because the rats all work in the restaurant or whatever. Like
Yeah.
there's that. But I forgot. So we watched two Muppet movies, and my wife had never seen any of them, so it was the first
Treasure
time for
Island.
her. No, that one might also not be on there. I'm not sure. That one might. I think it
That'd be
is. I
crazy.
think it is. I'm not sure. I'll have to look it up.
That's a
But
great one.
we watched. I just said we'll start from the beginning. So we watched the Muppet movie, which
That's a good
technically
one.
is in the beginning because you got the Muppet Show. But I'm not going to start with the Muppet Show.
It's a good movie.
The Muppet movie is great. Songs though, man, in these Muppet movies are classics, man. These
Yeah.
songs are so good.
Moving right along.
Moving right, I said that a minute ago, and I was just like moving right along. Let's get into Muppets. So yeah, Muppets, the Muppet movie, and then the Great Muppet Caper.
Wait, see that one is my favorite, but I think if I rewatch them, it probably wouldn't be. But right now, I hold it as my favorite.
That one is like a fever dream to me. Like that one's the one that I probably watched the most because I think we had that one. I think maybe we got
Yeah.
Muppet movie later, but like I remember having the VHS, and like the
Oh, the
case was
Great
like
Muppet
torn to
Caper.
crap from like opening and closing it a lot as a kid or whatever. But I had that movie, Great Muppet Caper, and that I think that was like the first one and the one I had for the longest. So I rewatched the heck out of it, and it's good. Um, Songs are also great in that one. Um, but I don't know, man. A lot of stuff in there is just really weird with Miss Piggy. Like the swimming sequences, so weird, or
See, I
sequence or
get
whatever.
this thing. I don't remember like anything about it besides they
Like
steal
yeah, there's so
the
much in
jewel,
both those movies that I forgot. Yeah, that's what I think. When I think of the Great Muppet Caper, I think of like the motorcycle and the stealing the
the
baseball diamond.
caper.
Yes,
Yeah.
there's so much more in that movie. That
Yeah.
they're like reporters and they're twins. Kermit and Fozzie are twins. It's like the whole. It's like a inside joke.
Okay.
They're like twin brothers. And at one
Yeah.
point, like the editor of the newspaper is like, "I was friends with your old man." And he pulls up a picture, and it's basically like a Fozzie bear painted green with like a Kermit ruffle on his, or a Kermit like neck thing on.
Yeah.
So yeah, like there's a bunch of really good jokes, but that's also the one where they go to London to investigate this or whatever, and they stay in that crappy hotel with everybody, in like
To rewatch.
the happiness hotel, and it's just like a rundown. It's free to stay there because it's so run down and crappy.
Wow.
And of course, like all the classic Muppets are in there or whatever. They've got like the Electric Mayhem and all that. Yeah,
Yep.
so they got,
Electric Mayhem.
and like I think that might be the first time we see Rizzo, maybe. Not sure, but it's really good. I had a
I
good time
think
with that.
I think if I rewatch them, the Muppets from is it 2011? That one
Probably.
might be my favorite. That one is
I was
really
looking
good.
up Muppet stuff on TikTok the other day because I was trying to hear the new Muppet voice, like you were talking about, the Kermit one,
Yeah.
and it is bad. But I think he's just having like an off day or something because apparently he voiced Kermit in other stuff like since like 2015 or something, and he sounds better earlier. So I don't know if he's just struggling with it now or what. But yeah, it's pretty bad now. But but I was looking up stuff and songs from the Muppet movie with Jason Segel started coming up,
Yeah. 2011.
and
It's so good.
the Muppet of a
Muppet or Man.
and Muppet or a Man, yeah, that one's good. And there's a couple other ones that it was playing. I forget what they are, but
They
they were
like
really good.
I love Rainbow Connection,
Yeah, it's great.
and the Rainbow Connection in that movie, I think it's the best.
I didn't even remember there being one in that.
Yeah, I don't. It's just a little crisper. Like the older ones, it's charming that kind of age you hear in the soundtrack of the
Mhm.
older ones,
Yeah,
but the newer one is just it seems more smoother.
gotcha. Yeah,
So
yeah, my wife when that started playing because that one's like right off the bat, like that's the first song you hear. Um, I also forgot in the Muppet movie that like they're watching the movie. Like it starts off with like everyone's going to Hollywood Boulevard to watch the movie or whatever, and
oh,
like all the
I
Muppets
forgot
are
about
in the
that too.
theater, and they start watching it, and Kermit's there with his nephew Robin, I think, or whatever, and he's like, "Is this the real story of how the Muppets got there?" And it's like, it's pretty much whatever. And it shows it, and it pans down to the swamp, and you start hearing No, that is Rainbow Connection, right? Because they're singing it again
I
at the
think
end.
so.
Yeah. But my wife heard it. And she's like, "Oh, I used to have this on a cassette. I didn't know this was what this was from, or whatever." And I was like, "Oh yeah, it's classic.
Yeah.
Good stuff."
I remember the car scene when they slap the fly on the price, and it
Yes.
changed
Oh
it,
my
like from
gosh, that was so
$5,000
good.
to
It's like, we'll buy
$5
that
or
one for
something.
that means you owe us 5 cents. Yeah, that's great. Yeah, that's good. Man, those movies are great. So yeah, we watched those two Muppet movies. Good times. Muppets are classic. So all right, and
They,
so what's your movie?
all right, my movie. So I'm gonna give you. I wonder if you've seen this before. I really hope you do, because we've been kind of in sync in terms of things that you've been like, oh, you haven't, I didn't know you had seen that. So this movie is an animated movie from my childhood that I have always adored, and for some reason has always connected with me more. Um, it's kind of a dark movie. It's not a dark movie, but it has a dark twist to it in the very beginning.
Is it Dougal?
No.
Okay, okay.
Dougal's a crazy fool, though.
Crazy fool.
Dougal's a crazy fool. Do you know John Krasinski's in that? That cast
No.
actually has some crazy people in
I
it.
don't know
Anyway,
why. I don't know why that's what came to
no.
my head. Holy crap.
This movie bombed at the box office. The studio that created it had to close down. It went bankrupt. The studio also did TMNT. The a lot of good stuff in that movie, but it did have its flaws. Um,
This Dougal movie. I don't think is what I was thinking of.
no, so
No, it
this
is. It
one,
is what I'm thinking of.
yeah, Dougal's a crazy pull. No, so this one made in 2009. It had a lot of competition, a lot. So that's probably why it didn't do well. I'm talking about Astro Boy.
Oh, that's a good one. That's a good one. I love that movie.
I
Is that on something?
love this movie. No, I don't know. I had to find ways. Um, I love this movie so much.
It's
Like,
crazy because
even,
you like this movie, but you won't watch anime, and it's an anime.
well, what's funny is I love this movie so much. I actually bought. There was some place that had like the early 2000s anime. I think it was the early 2000s. Yeah, it was on DVD. It was like the first season or something like that. So I bought it, and I got like an episode or two in, and I was like, this isn't like, it's different than the movie.
Yeah, it is. It
If
is for sure.
if you remember the movie Dr. Tenma, his dad, like he creates him, and then he rejects him, and at the end he's like he accepts him. In that anime, he's just like a full on villain, and he's basically just like building better robots to fight fight Astro, and like make him stronger or whatever, and just like, I don't know, he's kind of the bad guy, and I was like, I don't know about this. So
I gotta
anyway,
watch this movie
this
again.
movie this movie like, I showed it to my wife because I was just like, this movie was one that like really resonated with me as a kid, and I love this movie. And I'm telling you, one of the most underrated parts of this movie is the score. I don't know if you remember the theme. I didn't, but when I start hearing it, it gives me that feeling almost like Superman's theme does, where like gives you like that hopeful, like, oh, like I don't know. There's just something that kind of brings back that child in you a little bit. And the voice acting in this movie
Freddie Highmore
has
is Astro Boy.
Freddie Highmore's Astro Boy.
That's crazy.
Um, it didn't do well. It sucks that it didn't do well, but like, there's so much good stuff in this movie. There's so many times where like this time I watched, I was like, I want to cry right now with how like it deals with subject matter. I love the fact that you know Toby's dead. He dies very quickly. My wife's
I'm
watching
getting
it.
this
She's
movie
just
right now. I'm gonna watch it later.
with when they're making Toby the robot. My wife's just like, wait, he's actually dead? Like, I thought he was just gonna be like hurt because I know he's Astro Boy, and I'm like, no, he's dead. Like, the fact that you vaporize him like that. I know originally it was a car crash, but I kind of like not seeing like a dead child's body on screen. I'm
Yeah,
cool
yeah.
with it just
Especially in a children's
vaporized.
movie. Yeah.
yeah, so I'm cool with him being vaporized, and then crafting a robot, and then him be cloned and identical and still being a different person. Cinema, brilliant. And there's just so many lines. Like he gets rejected, he goes off to that. Well, he gets rejected. He flies away for a little bit, and he's taking on all these government ships that are firing at him. All that. I will say the villain. People can say the villain is the reason why the movie failed. The villain's not the reason the movie failed. The movie failed because I don't think the marketing was great for it, but also it had a lot of competition. It was the same year as Up, Cloudy with a Chance of Meatballs. There was a lot that year, animated movie wise. So,
I need to rewatch
but
this, but I might think that this movie's better than both of those. I like Cloud with a Chance of Meatballs, but I'm definitely lower on Up.
I think this movie, I like it better just because it means more to me. Like I adore this movie so much. Like just the fact of the loss in the beginning, and you're not getting that Toby back. He's gone, and then like in the end, him being the hero, like he's actually like I'm so this is something that we don't see often in movies like a lot like Spider-Man Homecoming. All right, Spider-Man Homecoming, he kind of gets his butt beat and he kind of sucks. In Astro Boy, he is like dealing out all the time in this movie. He's not getting his butt beat like really at any point in this movie. And you know, I just think it was a really cool adaptation of a classic cartoon anime and it sucks that it didn't do well. Well, here's the thing. It I probably would have liked a sequel, but watching it, I'm like, I'm glad they didn't do a sequel because I think it's a really concise movie. Because it ends with him like flying up to like an alien giant like squid thing, and is about to punch it, and that's the end of the movie. And I'm like, okay, this was enough
Yeah,
to like
it
just
ends on a good
get you.
note.
Yeah, there's no cliffhanger
It's
really.
no
It's just
across the
like, oh,
Spider
he's
Verse,
now.
you know. We're not.
Yeah, it's like, oh, he's. Oh yeah. It's like, oh, he's a superhero now for them, and I just, he never gets angry really at humans. He's always understanding. And when they're trying to deactivate him, just like Freddie Highmore's voice acting with, I don't know if you remember Elephant, the shorter scientist. His voice actor is also pretty popular. I don't remember his name. I don't really remember what he's in. But if you see a picture of him, you'd be like, oh, that guy. Um, he's brilliant. Every line he delivers to Toby is so like heartfelt, and it makes you be like, oh, this hurts. And then when Tenma is deactivating him to take the core out, and he takes the core out, and Toby's last words to Tenma is, "I'm sorry, I couldn't be a better Toby for you."
It's
I
good.
was
It's
like,
good.
this is
I'm gonna
so
watch this movie.
good.
I can't wait to
It's
watch this
so
movie.
good, and it's just got so many times in it where I'm like, jeez, this is this was too much for them to handle in that moment. I guess in 2009 they weren't ready for it. The villain, like I said, villain, very one note. There's not a lot of depth to him, but here's the thing: he's comedic. He's comedic relief, honestly. Just if you notice his lines in scenes where it's not even focused on him, his lines in the background are just funny because it's just like it's a huge caricature of a political, you stereotypical political villain. I'm like, I have to win this election. I have to declare war on the surface. It's just like it's stupid. But oh, another great thing, the RRF. I don't know if you remember RRF. It's the three robots that take him, and they're just like they're junkyard robots that are like, we're gonna form a revolution, to overthrow the humans. Um, but yeah, it's funny. It's a great movie. I love it and it gets a lot of hate really for no reason. And I'm glad to hear that you like that movie too, because there's not enough people in the world that do. Great movie. I love it.
Yeah,
Again, the score, when you hear the score, I'm telling you, you feel the 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 joy and triumph in this. It feels like Superman to me almost. Like you're so happy for this kid who's been through so much. But
yeah.
all right,
Okay,
that's
so
that's all I
I
got.
have one other connection to make to that because you're talking about like it being like it's a kid who dies and they basically bring him back through like a robot body, right?
Yeah,
Well, growing up, I was extremely into Mega Man,
Mega Man.
but specifically the version of Mega Man I grew up with what is like a knockoff. Like alternate reality one that is not like mainline Mega Man. There's like 6 or 7 uh, different series that are in like the main timeline where he's a robot and it's Robot Masters, and then like there's Mega Man, that's Mega Man Classic, and then you have Mega Man X, which is like 100, 200 years later or whatever, and now he's like a Reploid, which is just a more advanced robot, and it just kind of goes on. There's like all these robot timeline. There's one timeline where everything's about robots, um,
Yeah.
but then there's an alternate timeline that is completely separate, and that's where my favorite versions of Mega Man, my favorite Mega Man games are. That's the Battle Network games and the Star Force games. Both of those had an anime counterpart that they made. Battle Network was the NT Warrior show that I'm sure you've heard me talk
Yeah.
about because I that's the one I watched. And then Star Force just had Star Force, but that one got canceled. It wasn't very popular. The games are really good for Star Force though. But the games are very good for both. But in the game and the anime for the Battle Network / NT Warrior, that's a different one. That's a different Mega Man than Star Force. It's in the same timeline though. In the Battle Network / NT Warrior Star Force timeline, instead of robots, the doctor who made the robots ended up going into like he made the internet and he made these AI programs called net
Mm.
navies, and they were essentially like you have like a smartphone and everyone has the smartphone with like their own personal navi on it that's like that's
Yeah.
their person that helps. It's like it's like an AI that does everything for them in their smartphone
Yep.
basically, and they can use it to like fight viruses and do all this stuff. And that's what Mega Man was. Like the guy who operated Mega Man was Lan. It was like a real boy who his dad
Yep.
or his grandpa was the guy Dr. Light who made the internet and the net navies in that world. And Dr. Light in the like the real timeline,
Original.
yeah, the original timeline was the one who made the robots. But in this one, he made and that is the main character, Lan's grandfather, and then his son is like also like the dad is also like a genius prodigy or whatever, and so he makes Mega Man like the ultimate AI net navi program for his son.
Yeah.
But you find out like at the end of the first game, because Mega Man gets deleted and gets destroyed at the end of the first game, and this also happens in the first like 1 or 2 seasons of the anime. Um, uh, Mega Man gets deleted and Lan's like all sad and everything because they're like best friends, even though he's like a computer program or whatever. And then his dad's like, I actually have a copy of his program where we can restore him, but you have to understand something about this. It's actually special. And Mega Man is actually your brother. You had a twin brother when you were born, and he died in childbirth or whatever. And we took his
Ooh.
DNA and made it into a computer program because I'm just that smart. So Mega Man is literally your brother, your twin brother. That's why you guys have such a like a special bond, and you
A
guys
bond.
are like able to synchronize and be so much better than everyone else at everything, and
Yeah.
be like really good at battles. And like later on they can do like a full synchro thing where that like in the real world they get into digital areas and they like become one person, and so like Land gets like Mega Man stuff like in the real world and stuff like that in the anime. In the in the games he just gets progressively better and better at like they become like perfectly in tune with each other when they're battling and stuff like that, so they're like the best.
Yeah.
But that it's a very similar concept to that. Like Mega Man is
To that
literally a
Astro
digitized
Boy.
version of his brother that died,
Yeah.
and it's really cool. I don't know if he died in childbirth or he got sick like really really young or whatever. But yeah, I've always loved that archetype, especially with Astro Boy because it reminded me of Mega Man, which I liked. But yeah,
It just, I remember
it's
just
just a
growing
cool
up and
concept.
watching that movie and just being like, I was not used to seeing this in kids' movies where like the main kid dies, and then it's not just the kid is revived, like it's an entirely separate person you've created.
Hmm.
Doesn't replace what's been taken. It's
Right.
just
Yeah.
cinema.
Yeah. It's really good. Yeah, it's a good walk down memory lane. While you were talking about that, I was like, I haven't watched this movie probably since the last time we watched it together as kids, honestly. But I remember liking it a
Yeah.
lot. I'm a lot more, I like and appreciate anime, I guess more. Um, so like, I guess it's not surprising, I guess that I
This
would
has
also
made
like
me.
it.
I'm
But
curious to ask our brother if he's seen this one because me going down this Astro Boy path has led me to an anime that was made only a couple years ago, and it's basically like a reimagining of a certain arc of Astro Boy. I haven't watched it. I doubt you have. It's called Pluto, and I wondered if our brother had watched it. It's like on Netflix or something, but
our brother
I'm
has watched
thinking.
so much stuff.
I know. I wonder if he's seen it. I haven't. I don't know. So,
Interesting.
but yeah, it's a
Um,
really dark take on it.
Interesting. Okay. Yeah. Yeah, I like that. While you were talking about it, I'm like, I gotta watch it. So I went on Fandango and I went ahead and grabbed it. So I'm gonna
It's
watch
so
that later.
good.
Um,
8 out of 10.
so
I don't even care.
I finished the Hobbit book,
Uh huh.
and I have started the movies. I've watched the first
Is
movie, partway through the second movie.
What do you
I
think
keep
about the
getting
book?
interrupted. I think I like the books. I think I still like the book story more than like Lord of the Rings, because for one, Bilbo is still just way better um, of a character than Frodo. The story is good. I don't like the dwarves as much as I used
In the
to.
book?
In general, like even watching the movie, I'm like these guys are not as compelling to me as um,
No, I love the dwarves.
like Sam and
Well, Sam is a goated character.
yeah,
Nobody's gonna
Sam
stack up
is
to him.
right. But I guess like I don't know. As a kid, I was just kind of really enthralled in the movies when they came out for the Hobbits. I really liked what it was doing, and also it kind of gives you that. It's a little bit more like fun, fantastical. It's not as much like seriousness as like the Lord of the Rings
I
is.
guess so. Yeah.
So I think that's why I definitely liked it more growing up. Now I'm not sure. I'm gonna wait until I watch all three of them or whatever to
Well,
decide. So far,
my
I'm not liking
favorite.
it as much. Um,
Really?
yeah,
An Unexpected Journey is my favorite one of all of them, of Lord of the Rings and
there's a
Hobbits.
lot that they changed, and I think it's for the worst, to be honest. But no, I will say, like Martin Freeman is like perfect. He's the perfect casting. He does so much, and they're like there's changes that I don't like, but there's also changes I do like. And Peter Jackson, I think also did the same ones. He
Yeah.
same guy. Like he did this with a little bit with Lord of the Rings, but not as much. And I think he does it more with Hobbit, which I think is a good thing. Which I think is my biggest problem with these stories in general. Like he fleshes out some of these characters more than Tolkien did, because Tolkien, I think I'm just gonna go ahead and say it. Like do not like, I don't like for my personal takes. I don't like my personal like way that I enjoy stories. I do not think Tolkien is a very good storyteller slash
Mm.
character writer. I think he's extremely good at like world building, and yeah, obviously like the whole language thing is insane. Like him being able to do that, that's awesome. But like, man, you talking about characters having like arcs or development or whatever. The characters in Lord of the Rings don't have that. You can look at them and be like, oh, here, yeah, look at Aragorn. He goes from this guy who doesn't want to be king to this guy who accepts that he has to be king, and it's like that's the arc, right? The words you just described. That's the
That's
full
it.
extent of it. They're like
Him
you.
as
So
a
that's
person doesn't really
you
grow.
telling
He is
me
who he is.
yes. Although I think this is more. I think that if I understood this correctly in the book of Return of the King, which I did really like, and it was better than it is in the movies. Because I told you like the whole thing with the sword and everything that doesn't happen, all that jazz or whatever. I think I
Hmm.
was kind of under the impression with the way that him and Elrond were talking in the third book that Elrond that like part of his decision for why he decided, okay, yes, fine, I'll step up and be king. I could be getting this completely wrong, honestly, but it seemed to me what like I was doing it at work while I was like listening to it and stuff like that, so I could have lost it in translation. But it seemed to me like Elrond basically gave him an ultimatum, be like, if you want me to leave my daughter here with you, then she better be with the
Better be
king.
king.
Yes, like he's
Yeah,
like, okay, I got to do it. I like that. That's good. Like that, I'm on board with that. That's great.
that
But
makes
like,
sense.
that's like, we're in the third hour here. It's like it's like maybe he wasn't gonna do it to I don't know. Like Aragorn is like the second most developed character so um that's not like he's still
Very picking.
like the two like best characters in Lord of the Rings are Sam and Aragorn in that order. Um and like Sam is like the closest thing to a main character you have in the entire trilogy of Lord of the Rings. Um and I would say Sam is honestly even written better than Bilbo in that like as far as character development and arc and like you see his inner dialogue and stuff like that. Bilbo is not as well developed in the book as Martin Freeman's character version of him. He's
Yeah.
good, but I mean, like he's like by you compare him to Frodo, like he's way better. But I don't know. I just really don't think like I the story aspect. Maybe I take that back about him not being able to write stories. Like I've heard people say this, and I've heard people say that like he writes these books like their history, not like they're like a story. And I agree with that 100%. But that's not why I'm reading like a fantasy book or whatever. Like if you can build the world building and the story around it and everything like that, fantastic. And I think he does do that. But I don't think that like I think that like he writes them like their history that are happening in front of you or whatever. He doesn't like write
Yeah.
them like story. And there's not as much of like that fictional um pizzazz, I guess, to his stories. And I think that um Peter Jackson, at least for the movie translation, kind of make like bring some of that out more than it is even in the original books. While it obviously loses a bunch of other stuff, so it's like a give and take. It's why I do think that the Lord of the Rings movies are very good. Um, but I think that like
Adaptation.
everything I get from Tolkien enhances like the whole for me. Like every book I read enhances the other books and also brings up the
In the
movies.
movies.
Like they
Yeah.
like a rising tide lifts all boats type of thing. Like everything makes it better. Um,
It seems like the Hobbit book isn't improving the Hobbit movies for you, though.
that
Seems
is
like it's bringing it
true,
down.
but I also don't know how much of that is just because I haven't watched these movies since probably they came out, and I remember liking them when they came out. But for one thing, like the practical effects in Lord of the Rings are great. The
Yeah.
CGI in The Hobbit is very noticeable. Um,
I like it. I don't think it's bad.
um, there's certain things and changes. I'm trying to remember what they are, but again, I'm kind of like in the middle of it. It's all kind of
I
running
know that
together right now because I'm in the middle of the second one. Um,
I think the first one alone, An Unexpected Journey, that one is my favorite because it's got so much in it going on, first of all. And second of all, like Bilbo's arc, he already has an arc in the first movie. Like
yes,
him
yeah,
being
yeah.
just
Bilbo's great.
reluctant, just gonna sit in my house, and then by the end, when the orc is going to kill Thorin and Bilbo tackles him and kills him with Sting, I was like, what?
The
What, Bilbo?
Yeah, no, yeah, that's great. I think Martin Freeman Bilbo, in my opinion, is the best character in any of the Lord of the Rings stuff that I've seen, books or movies. He's the best
Yeah.
developed character. He's the best, like the most fleshed out. Because even in the books, like there's so much that I guess is implied or people like see it in the stuff, but I'm like, it's not there. I feel like I'm doing part of the work for the character development. Like Bilbo in the book is more like I don't know if you've ever seen clips of the old animated Hobbit, but
A
that is
little
kind of
bit.
like why that's kind of how like when I see the clips of like the animated Lord of the Rings or the animated Hobbit movies, those really like old animated ones or whatever, I look at them
Yep.
and I'm like, this is what the book feels like. They don't feel like these real characters like they do in the movies. They feel like these kind of
Fairy tale.
like these doldery, like Looney Tune type
Yep.
characters. They feel like clumsy and bumbly and like just like very aloof. Whereas Martin Freeman's version of Bilbo is very like also like Bilbo just does things to do them or because like it's like in his nature or whatever. Like um he does like you have that really good scene with Martin Freeman's one where like several scenes or whatever where Thorin keeps hearing Thorfinn, whatever his name is. I think it's
Thorin.
Thorin.
Yeah.
Like talking about how like he shouldn't have come. You know, he's a burden. He's not good. He's not brave. He's going to leave us the first chance he gets or whatever. And then Martin Freeman Bilbo keeps hearing this and then like he's like reflecting. He's having character development, and he's like, part of it is he has his own other reasons for going sometimes, but then part of it is like I don't want to be like this. He like finds it in himself that he wants to. He does have this like spark of adventure in him, and also the spark of like I need to take care of my friends and stuff like that. That's not really in. Like Bilbo is almost the same character. He finds out that he likes living on the edge ish or whatever. But
He's an adrenaline
he like
junkie.
takes care of or like um saves the dwarves so many times almost because it feels like an obligation to him, not because he's like I need to step up and
That's
do
my
this.
friend.
These are my friends or whatever. It almost feels like oh I can't be the guy who
I'm the
let these guys
bad
die. Like like
Yeah.
it has a different like thing like oh I can't be responsible for this as opposed to at the end of the Unexpected Journey movie where like they're like all like he has no idea the Eagles are coming. He's just like I'm gonna do whatever I can right now to save Thorin, and like that's good. Like so, in my opinion, Martin Freeman's version of he's probably my favorite character in the whole six
Yeah.
movies, and
Same.
books. But I don't know. I don't remember when
Is it
they start real.
is it is it an orc or a wolf that's about to get Thorin when Bilbo jumps on it?
I don't remember because
Because
like
I think
there's
Thorin gets beat
the
around
pale orc.
by
Yeah, he's fighting the pale orc. Um,
Azog.
and he gets kind of thrown around or whatever. But I think Azog tells like his right hand guy to go bring me his head or something like
Gotcha.
that. And I think he's going. I don't remember if he gets off his wolf because they were riding the wolves around. I don't remember if he's on the wolf going up to him or what. But Bilbo, comes and does that. And then like Thorin passes out, and then when he wakes up after the eagles him, he's just like, "Where's Bilbo?" Like, and then he gets all mad at him. But then he's just like, "It's like I was wrong about you. You're a good boy,
Yeah.
good hobbit."
That movie's the best one.
It was
I love
very
it.
it was good. I liked that part, but there's also like a good amount of stuff that they changed or tweaked in like worse ways or whatever. I don't know. I feel like they're a lot. I feel like these movies are a lot more give and take. Like there's certain things like in my opinion, like I said, Bilbo is is elevated, but like there's certain things that just don't quite work.
Is there one that you think is like the worst change that they made that you're like, why did you do that? You could have just gone with this and it was so much better.
There's a few things. One that's the big one that's coming to mind. I think a lot of it has to do with like why are they doing this? Like the way that like it's hard to explain because a lot of it's kind of fuzzy right now. But I know specifically one that was bugging me last night while I was watching the second one. Um, like they don't let Gandalf be smart. Like in The Hobbit, Gandalf is actually smart and like helpful and stuff like that. It's still annoying because he keeps going off and doing his own thing, which is
Right.
weird because like
Bye,
in the movies,
bye, guys.
Gandalf goes off to fight the sorcerer, right? Or not the sorcerer, the necromancer, which is Sauron.
Yeah.
But in the book that happens, but it's literally like they get to Mirkwood. Gandalf's like, all right, see you guys. I got stuff I got to do. Release your ponies. I'm taking mine because I got to go. And they're like, what are you talking about? He's like, this is my shtick. I just leave whenever stuff's happening. So then he just dips for like another 2/3 of the book and then comes back at the end for the big finale with the dwarves and after they kill a dragon and everything. When they're trying, so he's just gone for like 2/3 of the book. Um, but in the movie, like he's not as smart in certain things. So like when they go talk to, I forget the guy's name, the guy the skin changer, the guy who turns into a bear.
Oh, yeah.
He tells them he makes this plan beforehand. It starts with a B. I forget.
I heard his story. His was the worst one that they fumbled
Yeah, they
in
did
terms of the
fumble it for sure
movies.
because he's very temperamental. Um, and he's like very like antisocial and doesn't want to like interact with people and stuff like that. So in the book, Gandalf tells them beforehand, he's like, okay, I'm going to go to this house. I'm going to take Bilbo with me. Every 5 minutes, two of you come. Okay? It's not like in the movie. He's like, "Well, just wait for my signal," and they're like, "Oh, what's the signal?" So they make it into a joke where it's like every gesture Gandalf does, they just keep sending out more. So they all come in like the span of like 30 seconds. And Gandalf is like, there's more. It's just
Yeah.
it's like the complete opposite of the way it is in the book, because in the book it's Gandalf being smart. He knows how to deal with this person. So Gandalf shows up with just Bilbo, and Bilbo has no idea what's going on, and he starts talking to this guy, and they got a few of the lines in there in the movie, but like basically Gandalf starts. The guy's like really suspicious of them at first. He's like, "What are you doing?" He's like, "Oh, let me tell you our story." He starts telling him the story, and the story's like he basically tells them from like the beginning of like the book to like where they are right now or whatever, and then like every you know few sentences or whatever, he'll be like, "Oh yeah," and our group is like, "Group, there's only two of you," and he's like, "Oh yeah, well," and then there's two coming. He's like, "Oh yeah," he's like, "Oh, you've got two more, okay." He's like, "Yeah, so we've got our troop here of uh dwarves," and he just continues like, "Wait, you always called two a troop?" And he's like, "Oh no, actually, I think there were, oh yeah, there's two more." And so it's just like
Yeah.
like he's getting, they make it a point, and Bilbo, you also see Bilbo's internal dialogue with this, to where he realizes what Gandalf's doing. Like Gandalf is getting this guy engrossed in the story, so he's not focusing on, he's focusing on the story, and then the people as they're coming in are just adding parts to it or whatever. And
Hmm.
he's more invested. So it's more like, instead of being annoyed by the people like overcrowding him, he's annoyed by he's like, yeah, like, shush, get back to the story. Yeah, sure, whatever, come sit down,
Yeah.
like what's
He's
next, what
changing the
happens next.
focus.
Yeah, he's like, he's keeping the guy's attention on the story and the drama of it all and everything like that, and the guy's invested in that. And so and it like works into the conversation well or whatever, and it's a cool it's like Gandalf doing mind games on this guy in order to
Hmm.
bring, and they do actually space it out, except for the last one, because he keeps getting offended because he's the fat one, and they keep making him do stuff by himself. And so instead of the last two and then
Oliver?
him, because he's supposed to come by himself, but he's offended, so he comes with the last two or whatever, and but it ends up being okay. Um, but yeah, like that's just kind of like, that was kind of a really annoying point for me. But it's kind of stuff like that, where I'm like, wow, okay, there's a lot of stuff that the book did better, for sure. And I was a little I'm so far, I keep being disappointed with like certain stuff like that, because I'm like, you're taking this 10.5 hour book and putting it in 10.5 hour worth of movies, because each of these extended editions are like 3.5 hours long. Like, you could use this time. That's why I always tell people they split it up so that they can put more into it. But you're splitting it up, and then you're not doing some of the cooler stuff, and you're adding a whole bunch of other stuff. Like, I'm really curious how I'm gonna feel about like the elf girl, because
I like her.
Legolas is in these also, isn't he? Doesn't he show up?
Yeah.
Yeah, obviously Legolas has nothing to do with the Hobbit, which I knew
I
about
don't
that.
care. He's
But the
awesome.
elf girl, I thought the elf girl at least was in it. She's not. That's not. There's no elves in this. I mean, there's elves, but they're like in it very little. Um, so yeah, I don't know. It's a mixed bag.
I don't care that they're not in the books. That's some of the most enjoyable parts of those movies as well. I love the inclusion of Legolas and
Also, I'm pretty sure one of those dwarves is Gimli's dad. If I'm
yeah,
understanding
he
this.
says my that's my son Gimli, or like uh that's my wife. There is his, yeah, one of the dwarfs is Gimli's dad. He
Because they say
mentions it to
Gimli, son of
Legolas.
Glowin, whenever they reference Gimli in Lord of the Rings, like give his full title or whatever, and Glowin is one of the dwarves. So I'm assuming it's the same
When
Glowin.
you haven't gotten to Legolas yet, but when Legolas captures them at the Spider Forest, um, he opens up the locket, and I think he says like, "Who's this?" And he's like, "That's my wee lad Gimli." And he says like, "Who's this?" He's like, "That's my wife," and or something like that. So there is like Easter eggs about that. So I love those movies. So good. Um,
Okay.
you have any others?
Not movies. I think those are the only ones I can think of. We've started doing, like, my wife. I think I've talked about. She likes Friends a lot, so she recently finished her like rewatching. I would like pop in for an episode here and there, and see ones. And I was like, you know what, this isn't that bad. So she was like, I really want. She finished, and she's like, I really want to start Friends again. and so, and I was just like, well, I've
Jeez.
never watched it. She's like, okay, so like she's watching like Golden Girls and a few other shows too, as like her, like while she's doing other stuff shows to have
Yeah.
on. So she's like, okay, for Friends, we're just gonna watch it together when you're like that'll be like our sitting around eating together show or whatever. So I'm watching through Friends for the first time right now. And honestly, this show is so bittersweet to me because the whole time I'm like, man, I wish I I do wish I had gotten into this sooner. I wish I could have appreciated Matthew Perry while I was alive because Matthew Perry is Chandler in that show, and he is by far my favorite character. He is
Really.
awesome. Chandler is just the goat, man. Ross is terrible. Everyone else, like, by the time I started this rewatch from the episodes I had seen, I had started to like everyone except for Ross and Phoebe.
I thought people loved Joey.
Joey's great.
Yeah. Okay.
Like I had come around to everyone except for Ross and Phoebe. But even on this now on this full like watch through that I'm doing, I even like Phoebe now. And like there's times where like Ross is fine, but Ross is just such a like self-centered jerk. Um, but man, everyone else is great. I like everyone else. Jennifer Aniston is special. Um,
Yeah.
but yeah, no, man, uh, it's so bittersweet watching this specifically because Matthew Perry, and I'm just man, I'm like, that's he would have been like one of my favorite actors just based off of it. Like I would like
That's crazy.
well like just like a person that I like them and their vibe so much whatever like to be like Robin Williams is like my favorite comedian of all time. But I grew up with Robin Williams. I appreciate Robin Williams so much. So like that was the first like I've had like a lot of like celebrity deaths that have like hit me hard or whatever. That was definitely the one that hit me the hardest though. Like
Robin
I
Williams.
remember when the crocodile hunter died and all that was rough.
That was
We've had a handful like of big ones that were personal to me over the years, but I think Robin Williams was the first one, and I think that like this would probably like if I just from like the couple few seasons that I've watched with him or whatever, that man I love this character. I need to look and see if he's in more stuff. Um,
I'm sure he is. He was a popular actor.
yeah,
I know he's got a lot of. I wouldn't, just for your own benefit, I probably wouldn't research too much about him because I know he's got a lot of baggage.
yeah, yeah. I mean I
Some
know
not
yeah
great stuff.
there was some
So
he
if
went
you're a
through a lot of
fan,
hard
maybe stay away.
times.
So
All
well,
right.
do you have any other movies or TV shows?
Not movies or TV shows, I don't think. I'm kind of bouncing around between games right now. I think Resident Evil 9. I've been getting into those a little bit over the past few years. I didn't play 7. I watched Markiplier back in the day when that came out, play 7.
Mm.
Um, and then when 8 came out, I wanted to be part of the hype when that came out. So I played 8 when it came out. And I never played any of the old ones or whatever, but 7 and 8 kind of like changed the formula. It became like a first person horror type thing instead of like just zombies and stuff. Um, but I went back last year and they made some modern remakes of 2, 3, and 4. And I played 2 and 3. I liked them a lot. And then I started 4 and I kind of fell off, but apparently 4 is like a lot of people's favorite. So I keep picking up 4 and like playing through it a little bit here and there. I don't really like the first part. I've heard that like later sections are more like what I will like. So I'm trying to get to those. But Leon is like the main character of 2 and 4, and I think he's in some of the later ones. But he's been gone for like 10, 20 years at least as a main character. But he's back as like the secondary main character in the new one, and it's like a big deal. I think that comes out tonight at midnight. So I wanted to play 9 when it comes out ish, but I gotta beat 4 first because I don't have the Leon connection. So I'm playing that.
Gotcha.
I also kind of want to try to get into the Metal Gear Solid games. So that's my agenda for PlayStation. And then the other night, I have this really bad habit when it comes to games of falling off or getting to the end. Especially what I do is I'll get to the end, like the last boss, and then I'll just stop playing for some reason. I did this with like Arkham Asylum. I did it with Bloodborne for the longest time. I did it with Dark Souls 3 for a long time. I eventually went back and beat these, but like it took me years. I just never tried the
You just
last
lost the
boss.
drive too.
I got there and I was like, well, I think I'm like, well, once I do this, the game's over or whatever. But it's just not. You can like replay them and stuff like that. But I don't know. I was just like, I don't know. I like mentally, I think I just put it off, so I just fall off the game at the end. And I did this with most recently with Tears of the Kingdom, which is the most recent Zelda game for the
Yep.
Switch. It's a really good game, and our brother, you know, is a big Zelda fan, and the other night I was talking to him about it, so I was like, I'll boot it up and I'll see where I'm at, and I'll try to see. And I thought I had one boss left. Turns out I had like a boss that was pretty difficult, and then like a whole nother dungeon area to clear before, and some other story stuff to progress through before the final boss. So the other day I actually picked it up and played it for like a few hours and finished it up, but that kind of got me in the mood to play something else like that. So now I'm bouncing around on the Switch between a Zelda game I'd never played, which is Skyward Sword from the Wii. Our cousin years ago talked me into
They loved it. Right.
buying the uh, the remaster, I guess, or whatever that's on the Switch, and I never played it. I got it, but I never played it. So I'm doing that, and I think there was something else in the Switch, but I don't remember. Oh, I think I'm gonna try and finish Luigi's Mansion 3 also. So just random what
Hey.
we've been playing type segment. And you said you're playing Red Dead Redemption right now, right?
Yeah, I'm playing Red Dead. I haven't played in a few days because when we played Smash on Sunday,
You
I
didn't
was
have any
like,
characters.
I need to unlock some characters. So I unlocked a few, but what sucks is the first few suck. So it's not. I haven't
What
really
did you?
increased that many. So that's really all I've been doing. I'll probably get back to it because I'm almost done Red Dead in terms of the story. It's such a fun game to keep playing though. But yeah, I'll probably get back to that soon. But overall, that's about it with me. Uh,
Did have you
yeah.
looked up like the fastest and easiest way to unlock like
I
most of the
heard you run
characters?
around with Sonic, and
That's what I did.
then
I don't know if they patched that or not because at least when it came out, it was. I heard it doesn't work anymore, but I'm not sure. But I'm not seeing anything about that. Um,
I'll figure it out. I'm sure there's a fix. If anybody knows a fix, put it in the comments.
yeah.
All of you. So, do you have anything else you would like to review?
No, I'm good. You want to move on to that bracket or whatever
All
you
right,
said
so
you
I have
had?
a bracket. This one is MCU changes
Like from the source material?
from the source material.
I was talking about. All right. Is this going to be a negative bracket or a positive bracket? Like, are we
So
saying?
that's what I don't know. Should we go on changes that were good or changes that are heinous and bad?
I think. Well, are the changes ones that you would consider good or bad or both?
There's a mix. It's a bunch. So I guess it's kind of like
I guess we'll go with good then, because we want to be positive, you know. So
okay.
so, but some of them are going to be easy because there's.
We're gonna have to talk about the bad ones though as they come up because they're unavoidable.
Gotcha.
All right, so in our first round, are you ready? Because I'm
Yep.
gonna be asking you. We'll have dialogue, but I'll let you have the ultimate vote. The nerfed Hulk in the fact of basically Avengers 1 he was good. Uh, Avengers 2 they started to, fall off a little bit. I mean, Hulkbuster takes him out and everything after that, they nerfed Hulk, smart Hulk, no redemption arc in Infinity War Endgame, whatever. Like they kind of ruined Hulk. So that's one change where they nerfed him from his beast-like person in the comics versus the Mandarin in Iron Man 3. They kind of retcon that one, but I'm keeping it as a change to the source material. So which of those, I guess we're saying which of those are good, which I don't think is that hard of a choice, but that's why like maybe which one's worse is going to make a more interesting bracket.
You think I should
We'll
go with
go,
which one is worse?
I think we'll go with which one's worse because I think it's going to make it more interesting.
All right, which one is worse between those? And you said the decision's up to me, right?
Yeah, we'll dialogue. I mean, I think so far we kind of agree with. I think the nerfed Hulk has done. You can't use Hulk as a get out of jail for
I
free card. I
I
get that.
I I do think I would go with Hulk being the worst. like I don't
Yes.
particularly care about the character for the most part, but I know like people this really upsets people. And the Mandarin, like you
I
said,
think
has
it's one of,
been fixed in my opinion, and I don't think it was that
but
big of a deal in the first place.
I think the nerfing of Hulk and like the de-emphasis and going to Smart Hulk and him not having the redemption arc in Endgame is one of the most heinous things the MCU has done uh, to any of their characters. So I think that's worse. Also, the Mandarin, I like the twist, me personally. So I'm glad we're on agreement there. We're going nerfed Hulk. All right. Next, we have the change in terms of. So this one is interesting. This is probably for the better, but the change in uh, Zola in Winter Soldier, how he's not walking around in like a robot body, being a villain, like a classical comic villain. He's like a computer program who, was kind of behind it all in Winter Soldier. So they changed that versus going with this is going to be a couple things within this. The exclusion of Hank Pym in the Avengers and kind of using Scott Lang as the Ant-Man instead of Hank Pym. So that would include having Ultron come from RDJ instead of Hank Pym like it does in the comics. It, includes not having Hank Pym as a foundational member of the Avengers, and it includes, having Scott Lang be the first Ant-Man we get in the MCU. Now I know Hank Pym was Ant-Man before Scott Lang, but I mean, technically, the Ant-Man 1 is about Scott Lang. So which is
For
worse between the Zola and Hank Pym thing?
for me, I'm gonna go with Hank Pym. Uh, I do like the dialogue stuff. Obviously, I don't know if you want to front load so much though, because for was that would that have been your would that have been your pick too?
You're saying I should not give you. Oh, I'm trying to give context of like what I'm talking about, but so you want me to not sway you with how I'm describing it?
Right. I want to kind of go, and then if you
Okay.
want to try and sway me afterwards, we can.
Okay.
But like maybe
Okay.
give me the two things,
Like there's this really awful
or
one,
because I want to
and
be
then
able,
there's this one.
yeah, because
Okay.
I want to be able to, or I at least want to be able to have like a gut reaction even before you put something in. I want to have like just basic kind of like a like just kind of the basic premise of what the two options are, and then like I want to give an answer, and then if you think it's, then we could break it down, and and then maybe I could be up to changing it after that. But I just think that
Okay.
yeah, because like
All right.
I feel like
I'll.
I feel
Well,
like
these
so
first two
far
are
these
pretty
first two
easy.
have been very like weighted, like at
Yeah.
least in the
Well,
discussion.
I did. To be honest, I didn't set up the matchups myself. I was just writing them down because I was trying to hurry with this, so I didn't like strategize this up so much.
Yeah, we didn't
But
seed it.
all
Yeah.
right, we'll go next. The changes to Scarlet Witch and Quicksilver, like their origin, things like that, versus the changes to the character of Zemo in Civil War.
I don't know much about the Zemo changes, to be honest. Zemo is like one of my low points in Civil War, but I think that the changes to Wanda and Pietro are more significant. And like I'm more familiar with those, so I would go with that.
I forgot they call him Pietro.
Pietro.
I
It
agree.
like I
Um,
pulled that out of the ether because it's been so long since anyone's called him that.
yeah, that's crazy. Here's the thing though, even with these changes, Scarlet Witch is I think a really cool character in the
Yeah,
MCU. She
they're
reached the
they're
peak
they're
and
kind
then
of like pivoting her back. They're like over they're course correcting her, or they did kind of course
after
correct
Multiverse
her.
of Madness, they did course correct her, and Multiverse of Madness took her off again. Um, and Zemo they kind of fixed in Falcon and Winter
Falcon Winter
Soldier,
Soldier. Yeah.
but I was talking about the more comic booky thing. That's kind of a theme with these is I'm alluding to the more comic. They made it more realistic, which I kind of not realistic. I mean like founded in real world. We're not talking about Dark Knight. We're talking about like Iron Man. Iron Man 1 feels like this could like take place in today's world. I feel like, even though it's not like realistic like the Dark Knight is. Anyway, um, okay. So the next we have the changing of the Guardian's personality and whole feel from comics where they're a more serious team to now a more humorous team, versus the changing of Spider-Man's origins in Civil War, Homecoming, etc.
I think I'd go with Guardians because I don't think they changed Spider-Man's origin that much.
So you think the Guardians change was worse than what how I'm talking about like, we don't really get to see Uncle Ben's stuff. They changed it to Aunt May. It's
Yeah, but I
Iron
think the May
Iron Boy
stuff
Jr.
works. Well, the Iron Boy
Iron Boy.
Jr., but he was Spider-Man before that.
Well, I'm alluding to like how MCU's handled his startup.
Yeah, I guess in that aspect, yeah. Yeah, I'd go with Spider-Man then because that really did, and it still does, tick me off. But like, it's better now. Like, I'm happy with it. And like now going back to it, it doesn't bother me as much because I know where it's going. But like at the time, that really bothered me.
All right. Now we have, so this is kind of I had to change it up a little bit. This is kind of what led me to this bracket a little bit is the No Way Home changes in terms of the villains, the directions they took with uniting the Spider-Man, the villains from other universes instead of starting them in the current universe versus, the change of Thor from Thor 2 to Ragnarok, Love and Thunder, etc. Which of those do you think is worse?
What was the first one?
The direction they've taken with Spider-Man villains in No Way Home.
You talking about because they had to pull them from other universes?
Yeah.
That doesn't really bother me. That will only bother me if it means that like they can't do MCU versions of any of those from now on.
I think Feige has said that they won't.
I don't know if I believe that. Um, uh,
Versus Funny Thor.
I'm gonna go with Funny Thor.
So
Like I get it's more appealing. It's more like likable, I guess. But my
I think it's
favorite,
fine in Ragnarok if you balance it correctly,
yeah, yeah.
but if you
But
don't balance
I
it
I
correctly,
still prefer like first half of Thor 1 and Thor 2 Thor, like himself the person to his personality from Ragnarok on.
yeah, I don't have a problem with that. Me personally, I think, listen, I love No Way Home. You love No Way Home. We all love No Way Home. But I think it is actually done. I would say irreparable, but it's not irreparable because when they reboot the MCU, it'll be repaired. But they've done a lot of damage to who the MCU can use. I was really looking forward to a new Goblin arc or Doc Ock arc in Tom's series, but there is no arc because and it's tough because people say Spider-Man has one of the deepest rogues galleries, but it's tough when you just spent like six of them in one movie and you're not going to redo those. So I'm glad they're going to Scorpion in the new one. But after that, I mean, I don't know who else is really out there you can use that be interesting. Can't use Craven, can't use Venom.
You see that they said that Sony is
Rebooting
rebooting
the
the
Sonic
Spider-Man
franchise.
spin-off stuff. Yeah.
How are you what do you don't have to reboot. We've already forgotten what happened in the others. Like I don't know why anyway. Okay.
You think that they're gonna do
Um
that and then um like I had this thought. I've had this thought several times, but I had it again the other day. Like, do you think there's gonna be a time where like they not Sony specifically, but like movies that are not considered good now, but like those characters get like some sort of redemption, a la it's not nearly that bad, but like Andrew in No Way Home or whatever, like they're gonna bring them back as cameo versions of the characters they played in a future movie, and they'll do them better because it'll be like, oh, this is the MCU, or like
And people look back at the Sony movies and be like, this got a lot of unneeded hate, and it
type of thing.
was
Like
actually pretty good.
I wonder if these characters are still like these actors are still gonna be like
Is it going to get the TASM 2
if
treatment?
people are gonna want those characters to go. Yeah, I mean, I guess the TASM 2 treatment because like people didn't like the the
The
villains,
movie
but
one.
like they
Yeah.
brought the villains back or some of them for No Way Home, and they were good
Yeah.
in No Way Home.
I think it's possible because Aaron Taylor Johnson as Craven was really good. Tom Hardy as Venom, while it's not the traditional Eddie Brock. Same with Aaron Taylor Johnson. It's not the traditional, Craven off, but they're both entertaining characters. It's just the rest of the movie that sucked.
Like, could they make Dakota Johnson Madam Web? Could they do
That one, no. I'll never be on board with that one. Get
Jared
her out of
Leto
there.
Morbius?
She's so bad. Him. Don't even get that. That one was horrible. It was peak movie. Um, yeah, I think it's crazy. They're like, oh, don't worry, we're gonna reboot it. We're gonna fix everything. Like, you don't understand. All right, so this is coming up. You might not get this one. Thanos motivations in the movies versus comics versus uh, the character of Captain Marvel in Captain Marvel 1.
I feel like Captain Marvel's got to be pretty big. Thanos is like still relatively close, I thought. Well, isn't he just more of a douche in the comics? Like he's just straight like
In the
in the movies
comics,
they kind of make him. They try to make it so that like he's trying to do a good, like he thinks he's doing a good thing. Where in the comics he's like no, I'm a bad guy. Like
he's trying to appeal to, I think it's like Lady
death.
Death or
Yeah, I think
something,
it's death.
and so
Yeah.
he's trying to send souls to her, and so that's why he's simping. Um,
Yeah, I don't like that as much as as like they actually made him somewhat compelling
yeah.
in the movie. So yeah, I like that one more. So I'll go with the other one.
Okay,
The
Captain Marvel.
Yeah, because also
Which
like Captain
they
Marvel should be like she should be like not just like a literal powerhouse, but she should be like
a likable
a
character.
likable like a story powerhouse. Like she should be like a big dog in the MCU, and she hasn't found her
And
footing yet.
they kind of course corrected in the Marvels where she was better. But the
I
thing
agree.
is, you completely mishandled her character in the beginning, and I think it hurt the MCU. All right, now we have, I don't know if this really changes, but oh, okay, so this one is Taskmaster versus I wrote like the Multiverse of Madness, Illuminati, changing of Scarlet Witch, that
It's
stuff.
Taskmaster.
But
It's Taskmaster.
yeah,
It's
Taskmaster.
Taskmaster. Like I'm not. You said Illuminati. I'm like no. It's Taskmaster.
I know you hate you said before you hate that Illuminati scene.
It's like the worst scene in there, but it's still like they still like are got the idea ish of what it's supposed to be like. Kind of. It's not a like very good thing, but it's not like Taskmaster would be like the equivalent of putting like Deadpool in the Illuminati. Like it's Deadpool and a bunch of TVA agents, and they're actually the Illuminati. That's the equivalent to what Taskmaster is in the MCU.
Yeah, they really did botch Taskmaster real bad.
Yeah, I
Um,
had this thought today. Speaking of Deadpool, I got real hankering to watch Deadpool Wolverine again. I know I gotta
I've been
watch
thinking about
I gotta
it
watch Black
just for
Panther and
humor.
I gotta watch Guardians first. But like, man, I really enjoyed Deadpool 3.
It was funny,
It's
but
fun.
it's
I
horrible.
love the end of that movie. That like with him and them teaming up, and like Madonna's like a prayer with that scene. Like that scene's epic.
The TVA part is just so stupid.
At the end.
Yeah, the guy that has been like a pain in their side the whole time, that he's just
Oh
like
yeah, well yeah.
a
Some of that dialogue at the end
caricature.
is stupid, but I love the actual like them saving the day. But then also when they come around the corner, that scene's
Yeah.
funny. But then also it's playing. I think it's Iris by the Goo Goo Dolls or whatever, and it's just like
And
that.
I
That's just
don't
so
want the
epic. It's
world to
so
see
good, man.
me.
I love
That
it.
is funny.
I love that.
It was the movie was
I love
hilarious.
so much of that movie.
It's probably the funniest movie in the MCU. I was dying laughing watching it. It was just
And the car, the scene
it's
in
a
the car where he's just killing him in the car,
yeah.
so
There's
good.
only ever gonna be one blade.
And for me, I
It,
think the down point of that movie, um, is the like it's like I wish that there would have been like the stakes are big, but like the cameos all feel like B or C listers. Um,
they do,
except for Johnny, which is a joke, but like I wouldn't
and
I
they
think that that's the perfect amount of that joke. Like I would not want Johnny sticking
except for the
around.
fact that they really like she kills him instantly.
Yeah, but
That's what I was just like, don't disrespect my Chris
I'm not
Evans, Johnny
sure how
Storm
I
like
feel
that.
about Cassandra Nova still, like in general. I think
No, she was
Pyro,
bad.
yeah, I think she kind of sucked. I think Pyro sucked, but
Yeah, the whole villains and okay, the whole story of the movie sucked. It was really just the humor that was good about it. Um, okay, yeah, I've been kind of wanting to watch that just for the humor part. Anyway, so then we have next. So this is the last one of the first round.
gotcha.
All right, not recasting Black Panther versus fumbling Kang.
I'm gonna say fumbling Kang. Yeah, did not recast, and then did they recast Black Panther?
They did not really announce anything like that.
I thought they did.
Not that I know of. All right, second round. Ready? Now we have nerfed Hulk versus Hank Pym, which is a worse change.
I'll go with Hulk.
Yeah, I think that one's pretty easy. All right. Now we have the Scarlet Witch Quicksilver origins versus the Spider-Man origins.
I'll go with Spider
Startup
Man.
of each.
I'll go with Spider Man there. They're almost equal to me because I really like I feel like a lot of it is the course correcting for Wanda that makes it a little bit better for me.
Yeah,
Um,
they killed Quicksilver off real quick.
and
No,
I
no pun intended.
that but that also hurts. Like well, one they didn't. I don't know. It's just, man. Maybe they can find a way to redo them with when they bring the X-Men in next phase.
Um, yeah, I hope so. Well, that's gonna have to be after the reboot, I guess. Also, I don't know if you heard, but did you hear No Way Home is supposed not No Way Home, Brand New Day is supposed to be 4 years after No Way Home?
Yeah, 2028, right?
Yes, I don't know, something like that. But like he's gonna be 22 years old, which excites me that we're gonna get an adult Peter Parker and he's not Spider Boy anymore.
I
Um,
yeah. Okay, that's good. But also like so they're completely skipping college.
that yeah, I don't like that because college is my favorite era of it.
That's interesting. And like the whole point of the whole
I
point of
guess
No Way
I guess
Home is getting into college, and then we're just gonna skip it.
I guess so, but like
But I guess
also
he
I
couldn't
guess
go to
because
college if he doesn't exist.
that's true. I
But
guess
like
in
he
their
has to
mind they're
go to
like
some college because he's got to
they
get
might be thinking in
credentials.
their mind we just did like a trilogy with like within academia. Like he just spent 3 movies in high school. Are we gonna rehash the same tropes that come with like a school, story? Like, oh, where have you been, Peter? You haven't been at the dance, stuff like that. Like, do you want to rehash that same stuff or you want to put him in the big boy world? Um, but yeah, so to me, I'm kind of like, okay, that's interesting. I like the idea of that. I don't know if I want him to be a photographer. I think that's also an over. People say Peter Parker should be in high school and he should be a photographer, and it's just like that like those issues were like the very small minority of Peter's life. Like I don't think he needs to be either of those things. I prefer him not in high school.
Yeah,
Anyway,
I'm okay with him being an adult. I would like him to. I would still like. I'd be fine if they did like not either like a montage or like a reference to oh yeah I worked as a photographer for a little while and like he's on now he's doing something else but like they mention it or maybe I'd be fine with him working as a photographer this whole thing like I do think that's somewhat important to the character That's like an iconic
it
thing. He
is.
doesn't
I
have to be
think
stuck in that forever.
I think
Even if
it's
he's
changed a
doing
little
that
bit.
to get by at the beginning of the movie until he gets like a better job or something. But
Well, I
also
think
like the
it's
thing
changed
is like
because
he has a hard time juggling like a real job. So even when he gets to like I feel like that would be an easy thing to get by at least
yeah,
at the time, you know.
I think why I say I don't really care much for the photographer part is also why same thing for Superman is like news is dead. Like newspapers don't exist anymore. You know, you taking pictures of Spider-Man, you know, it used to be you were on the if it was on the front page of the newspaper, that newspaper was selling. You take a picture of Spider-Man, I mean, it's going to be on Google Images and there's a bunch of pictures of Spider-Man on Google Images. It's not that important. So me, I'm just like I just don't see the importance of it as it was when it was first started back in the day.
That's true. What if
Um,
what if MJ is like a blogger or something and that's how he gets like the connection back to her is he's like offering to give her he's like I'll give you photos for your website or your blog or
so
whatever.
we're getting separate, something separate, but I don't know if I even want, and I don't, I would not care if they had MJ in this movie.
MJ
I'd be
is in
fine
the
with no
movie.
Ned. No, I know, but I would be okay if there was hardly any MJ or Ned in this movie. Just bare minimum to move on from those characters. I don't really need them. Um, because I don't want to be playing footsie with MJ this whole time. Um,
Who do you
anyway.
all right, real quick since we're talking about Brand New Day before we continue, do you want to lock in who you think Sadie Sink is?
Uh, I heard she's got a close. I heard the reports she's got like a close relationship with the Punisher, which to me doesn't. I don't know anything about Punisher to really make any sort of conclusions based on that. If I'm gonna lock in who I think she'll be,
Or I guess you don't have to lock that in. I guess what do you think of the
I'll
like? Are you buying the Jean Grey rumors? Because I'm not. That doesn't make any sense to
no,
me.
no. I think that's the stupidest rumor.
Yeah.
I'll tell you what. I think she could probably be their Gwen. I think that's probably the most logical one. Um, it
Interesting.
doesn't really
Because
make sense with
well,
how
like, but
there's
they're also
not been.
man. I think the MCU is getting better at like hiding stuff. To be
Yeah,
honest,
they are.
because like they have been really locked up about this, which is kind of weird to me. Because I feel like No Way Home was the one that like
They
you
were
should have
locked up
been real.
about that
They
one too.
were, but all like it was like impossible to keep everything locked up, which is why so
Well,
much
there
stuff
was
is
only like
spilling
two
out.
pictures that leaked out the entire time.
Still, but like this one like we're not. I feel like this is more like street level or whatever. It's not like we're not expecting Tobey Maguire or Andrew Garfield or any multiversal crap happening and whatever. I mean, this
Well,
one
there's
is like
Hulk and there's Punisher.
we're
That's
hearing
confirmed.
we're hearing all sorts of stuff, but that's not multiversal. They're
Yeah,
like
but it's kind of like why do that?
yeah, but I don't like the thing where she said that like people will forget hair color can change. Like that could be a complete misdirect.
Yeah,
Who knows what that is? Like, why do you don't cast Sadie Sink if you're going to change your hair color? I feel like, um, but I don't know. Maybe you are, but
there's only one significant redhead in Peter's life. Um, you know what? I don't I don't want this, but it could be Black Cat. It could be Black Cat.
could be Mary
I
Jane.
don't want that. It could be a real Mary Jane.
Okay.
No offense to
I
Zendaya,
think they
she
got
got
married.
better.
Pretty sure they got married.
Who?
Uh, Tom and Zendaya.
I don't think so.
I don't know.
Anyway, hold on. Let's.
Yeah, go
Uh,
on. Yeah.
yeah. Okay. So the next bad MCU changes we have is Funny Thor versus the handling of Captain Marvel.
I want to go funny Thor because I don't care that much about Captain Marvel in the first place, but I think that it hurt the MCU more, and people liked the first part of Funny Thor. You see what I'm saying?
I yeah, and I see what you're saying because they're banking on like remember the headlines coming out with Captain Marvel that like Feige was pushing Captain Marvel. He's like she's stronger than Thor. She's going to be the leader of the next phase, and people just hated her because of how they portrayed her in the first movie.
It's kind of a toss up to me. I guess if it was handled better, then it would have been better in the long run. So I guess I'll go with Captain Marvel.
Um, Taskmaster versus Fumble of Kang. These are good ones
I'm gonna go
now.
with Kang.
And
Castmaster
you're
Castmaster is like arguably the worst thing fumble that they've done, but it's still like a one off and done thing. Like Kang should have been like a Thanos level. Like we shouldn't be getting Doctor Doom right now. We should be getting Kang stuff. We should be getting like another end game with Kang.
and when I say and I guess with the Fumble of Kang, you can point to other things like that they're not that MCU's not at fault for, like the Jonathan Majors stuff that came up with him and his lawsuit, all that stuff. And I get that. But the thing is, even before that happened, Quantumania was filmed. That's what I'm talking about with the Fumble of Kang, with how you handled that. That should have been your big bad. Jonathan Majors was great in his role. It's nothing wrong with, you know, if you were saying like Kang's going to be the big bad, and I believe you, and I think that was a great choice, especially with how Jonathan Majors was playing him. He was terrifying in the beginning of Quantumania.
And
Love
Loki
that.
season one.
And Loki. But then by the end of Quantumania, first of all, I want to see that one fight the Avengers. That one was vicious. But then they're like, oh, we're gonna have a bunch of Kangs come after him. Like, I don't care about that. This one
I mean, I
saying
get
like,
the
have I
Council of
killed you?
Kangs is a thing. Like I
I
get that
just
that
I didn't care for that. I never cared for that one.
all,
I wanted the guy who said, "Have I killed you before?" Like that guy has it in him.
yeah.
So when we say fumble of Kang, we're not saying like you. Oh, it's not like Captain Marvel's thing where oh you just wrote him wrong. It's like you had a character
Like this should have
and
been like those are a little bit comparable because it's like okay, what if they fumbled Iron Man versus what if they fumbled Thanos? Like that's kind of what you're. But it's not like I don't think Captain Marvel would have been their Iron Man. I think Spider Man is their Iron Man.
it was like
Um,
their Captain America.
yeah, it'd be like their Captain America, or honestly, be more like their Thor, to be honest. Um, in
And
my opinion,
Captain Marvel was supposed to be their new front runner. That was the plan.
I guess maybe Doctor Strange. I don't know. Anyway, what do we got
Anyway, all
next?
right. Final semifinals. Nerfed Hulk versus Spider-Man Origin.
I guess I'll go with Nerfed Hulk only because Spider-Man Origin is kind of it's like a moot point now because it is like they messed it up during the time,
They
but
kind of
like
retconned
they have
a
they
soft
have
retcon.
it's like the Wanda thing. They have fixed it mostly by now.
Yeah, I agree.
Whereas Hulk, it's just I mean,
You
hey, you
can't
know
fix it
what?
really.
They could maybe Brand New Day. He's gonna Hulk out. You know, maybe.
I don't, yeah, but even if he hulks out, the damage is done, I think.
Hmm.
Um,
They,
he
I
got
mean,
punked
like
by
we could like
Thanos.
2 years from now, like we could be having thing, and Hulk is like being Hulk in movies like regularly, and it'd be like, you know what, we had that bad patch, but like they've adjusted now. Like it only took like one real good Spider-Man movie in my mind for them to be like, you know what, all is forgiven, whatever. So give me one or two, we'll go with Hulk, and it could be the same. But for now, yeah, I'll say Hulk because they haven't fixed it yet.
All right, semifinals for the other side. We have Captain Marvel versus the Fumble of Kang.
I'm gonna say Fumble at King because
Mm.
like I said, I think that I don't think she is the Iron Man. Maybe she's the Captain America. Maybe I would say more like Thor, because Thor's like the third, which she could be up there in the top three. Because you've got, for my in my mind, like after the original like trilogy or the original Trinity, whatever of like Cap, Thor, and Iron Man, that's the like those are the big three. And Iron Man was the lead, but I think Spider Man was like the projected next lead. He was
So
the
the
new
the
Spider Man.
danger the danger with that is if you think about this from the MCU perspective, Kevin Feige, he knows after Endgame this thing's wrapping up. So he makes this huge push for Captain Marvel. Marvel wants nothing more than to push Spider-Man, but they can't. They don't want to. Like they would love to, but they don't want to because they don't own Spider-Man. Sony owns Spider-Man. They can't push him to the front because Sony's just going to ask for more money. So he's kind of stuck in this. He'll never be the front and center of the MCU because he can't be. They can't afford to make him front and center. They're hoping Captain Marvel would be that new character for them. And I mean, who would you say is now? I don't even know.
Uh,
Maybe Doctor Strange,
yeah, I was gonna
but
say honestly, I think Doctor Strange is a big one. I think they wanted Falcon or well
they
Captain
did.
America. I think he
They've
would have
kind of
probably been the
handled
Cap,
that too.
but now it's like
I
I honestly right now where they're at, I think the big ones. Well, like it's not a matter of like what their plans were was what I'm talking about because like right now they have pivoted. So right now you've got like probably Falcon, you've got Yelena, who's
She's the Black Widow.
I don't think she's the Black Widow. I think she's like the Cap.
No,
I think Yelena is like a big three right now in the
no,
MCU. As far as like the face of the MCU, Yelena is one of them.
so bad. I think that's so bad.
I mean, it like optically, sure. Like as far as like what are we doing, but she's bringing it in a way that no none of the other modern people are. Um,
Yeah, they have horribly missed on not only the movies but the TV shows. I didn't even include the
I
TV show
I
stuff.
think the only people who can bring in, yeah, I wasn't thinking about in TV shows either, but I think the only people right now who can bring in interest in an MCU movie that are not like these crazy recurring cameos, like bringing the X-Men back and all that, are
Or Iron Man, Cap, or Thor.
yeah, no, like none of those recurring people who are supposed to be gone. I'm talking about like of the new gen kids, people, whatever. I think Yelena, um, Gardner's enough right now. I think Spider Man, obviously. I think Doctor Strange. Um, and I mean Loki, if you would count him from the TV shows.
So I think I would agree that those are probably the most popular within the MCU right now, but I don't think those garner a box office. We just saw it with Thunderbolts. I mean,
True,
that
that's
box
true.
office didn't do well. The
I think that Thunderbolts is like one of those that I think that word of mouth has spread about Thunder. Like I
Yeah,
think that like now people are interested because of Thunderbolts, but people didn't have interest going to Thunder. So like the box office of Thunderbolts looks one way, but I think the reputation of Thunderbolts is drastically different.
yeah, I agree. I'm just saying like the draw that we talk about. I think Spider-Man's the only one that is a guaranteed box office draw if you have a title movie based on him. I don't even think Multiverse Madness made money because people thought it was going to be a cameo fest, and they put not Doctor, Professor Xavier in the trailer. So,
Yeah,
all right, finals we have Nerfed Hulk versus Fumble of Kang.
I'm gonna say Kang because I like this whole
Well,
time I've been letting Hulk go because I know how much it means to everyone else. So,
but you personally
but
don't care
like,
about it.
I don't care about it. Like, I was like, I'm happy with how he was in the first Avengers. Um,
Well, I'm saying after that.
I know, but I'm like, we didn't get like crazy strong Hulk in first Avengers for sure. But like after that, but like Hulk is like my least favorite Avengers. Like, I just don't care. I've never liked the big strong guys. I've always liked the small agile guys more and stuff like that, or the more well rounded ones or whatever. Just the big dumb brutes just have never been like a thing. So like I get other people like it. I get it. That's cool. That's fine. But and so like I've got him this far for all those people who were upset about it. But Kang should have been another Thanos. You know, Kang should be the big bad. Kang isn't a Kang should have been a Thanos, and they made him a Ronin. Um,
Yeah, that's true.
and
That's true.
I think that's a bigger that's it's like doing that to Thor, but at least you don't have a chance to fix it. You don't have you don't even have
I
grace.
think they could still. I think they can still fix it, but with the Jonathan Majors stuff, they're just not going to.
Yeah, they won't. But people complain about the
I
Thor stuff all the time. I don't know why it's taken them this long to course correct Thor.
well, they've only I think the only time they went off course with Thor, I mean, Endgame Fat Thor was a little, yeah, it was a little off.
Oh,
And
not
but I
not
think
Thor. I
Robert,
meant Hulk. I meant Hulk, not Thor. Yeah.
oh, Hulk. Well, yeah, I think Hulk. It sucks because I think Hulk actually, he's probably the most interesting of the Avengers in terms of like the source material of a scrawny professor who, what does he say in Old Age of Ultron? He's like, I'm scared to lose my temper because I know I'll. Oh, Scarlett Johansson, Black Widow says to him something like that to him, right? Like, you're scared to get into a fight because you'll know you'll win, or something like that. Like, just stuff like that, that a dude's just constantly dealing with stuff. Like, I think that is there's more depth to a story like that than the others.
That's true, and they have fumbled that. Um,
I also nixed off of this list because I just thought
but
it would probably be the easiest winner.
if anything, that actually elevates him a little bit for me though, because they did do that. That like that's a big part of Age of Ultron is Hulk and that development.
Yeah,
So
but
like you got that. Like there you go.
yeah, I think they should have leaned more into that. But anyway, um, I didn't even. I was just gonna mention this: the over quantity after Endgame, how they lined up TV shows, movies, back to back to back, the over saturation of it all, that I think had a negative effect on Brave New World with all the reshoots, and it had a negative effect on a lot of MCU projects. But I think that decision by Marvel to just flood Disney Plus and the theaters with these awful mid movies just for the sake of getting stuff out to make a bunch of money is probably the worst decision they made. So I didn't put it in the bracket, but I just thought I'd mention that. So, yeah, you have the Fumble of Kang as your number one bad MCU change. And this isn't really from the source material, I guess. That one's just the last few minutes of Ant-Man.
Yeah.
Like, Ant-Man 3, that's crazy.
Oh,
Anyway,
really? All
all
of
right.
Ant Man could have won this. All of Ant Man Quantumania could have won this bracket. Um, yeah. That's another one
Oh,
I think I would like to. I'm getting to the point where I'm like, I'd like to revisit it. I know it's bad. I know it's not going to change my opinion on it, but
yeah, I also forgot about Yellow Jacket, how they do him dirty in that movie too.
oh yeah, because he's Modoc. Man.
It's
All
awful.
right. Well, that's a good bracket. That's a long episode. It's about. I thought we were gonna have a quick one today, but another long one.
Yeah.
We'll get back in the swing
Sorry,
of this. I also
guys.
have I got that wavelength game, so we can start doing some of those sometime or
Ah,
something. So we could both have like the wheel up here and figure out how to do that.
yeah.
So, all right.
Let us know what y'all's most hated changes. I know a couple y'all will probably say the Hulk,
Yeah.
but
Vandy, don't hate me. We're still friends. Scavengers Rain sucks though. Yeah.
it's just not for me, Vandy. I'm glad you love it, and I'm sure there's a lot of people who would love it as well. I am just not one of those people.
All right. Well, this has been Mask and Cal. Thanks for watching, everybody. Come back next time, and hopefully we'll have more to talk about. And yeah, we'll see you guys then. Out.
See you guys.